The Whispering Woods. It was the summer of 1983 when Clara moved to the small town of Hollow Creek. Nestled between dark, towering forests and fog-laden hills, the town seemed like a perfect retreat. But the townsfolk avoided one particular area like a plague, the Whispering Woods. Legend had it that anyone who ventured into those woods at night never returned. The trees were said to whisper secrets of the damned, calling to the weak and lonely. Clara, a skeptical journalist, dismissed these tales as small-town folklore. Her curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to investigate. The first visit, Clara arrived at the edge of the woods just as the sun dipped below the horizon. A cool breeze carried an eerie calm, and the shadows of the tall, gnarled trees stretched like claws. Determined, she walked deeper into the forest. The first thing she noticed was the silence. No birds chirped, no insects buzzed, just a void of sound. As she ventured further, the faintest of whispers began. At first, she thought it was the wind, but the voices grew clearer, distinct yet unintelligible. They seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood an ancient stone altar, covered in moss and what looked like dried blood. Around it lay scattered remains of animal bones, and bizarre symbols were carved into the surrounding trees. She snapped a few photos and quickly retreated, her heart pounding. The unfolding terror back at her rented cottage. Clara developed the photos, but something was wrong. In every picture, faint figures loomed in the background, blurred, shadowy, and impossibly tall. Their faces were obscured, but their eyes glowed faintly, even in black and white. That night, Clara was awakened by a sound. The whispers had followed her home. They were louder now, circling her room, echoing in her ears. As she turned on the light, she froze. The mirror on the wall was fogged up, and in the condensation, the message appeared. You were warned. Descent into madness over the following days, Clara became obsessed with the woods. She scoured local archives and discovered a chilling history. Centuries ago, the area was home to a cult that worshipped an ancient, malevolent entity known only as the Nameless One. The cult performed rituals, sacrificing anyone who dared enter the woods to appease their dark god. Clara decided to return, convinced that exposing the truth would be her greatest story. She armed herself with a flashlight, a camera, and a tape recorder. This time, the whispers began almost immediately. They were louder, angrier. The trees seemed to close in, their branches twisting like skeletal hands. As she reached the altar, the whispers erupted into deafening screams. Her flashlight flickered, and the air turned icy. Shapes emerged from the shadows. Dozens of them. They were the lost souls, their faces frozen in eternal agony. They pointed toward her, their mouths opening wide in silent cries. The ground beneath Clara cracked, and a hand, black as tar, with claws like daggers, burst forth. It grabbed her ankle, pulling her toward the altar. She screamed, thrashing, but the more she struggled, the tighter its grip became. The whispers turned into a chant, and she realized they were calling her name. The final record days later, a local search party found her tape recorder at the edge of the woods. The last recording was a chilling mix of Clara's screams and an otherworldly voice repeating, "She is ours now." Her body was never found. But some nights, when the wind blows just right, the people of Hollow Creek swear they can hear Clara's voice among the whispers, begging for release. And no one dared enter the Whispering Woods again.